One of my personal accomplishments as a trophy hunter is that I have all of the Uncharted games platinum. That means I've done the first 3 Uncharted on both PS3 and PS4, Uncharted 4 on PS4, and Uncharted Lost Legacy on PS4. It was recently brought to my attention that I was actually missing one of the Uncharted games. I was totally unaware that Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy were remastered for the PS5 in a bundle called Uncharted Legacy of Thieves. Learning this, I dropped absolutely everything I was doing to platinum these 2 games, but before I load that game up, I was told by one of my Twitch followers that if you have your old PS4 save files on the games, you can just transfer that over to get the trophies to auto-pop. So of course, I went looking through my online save files and found Uncharted 4's save file. I'll come back to Lost Legacy later in the video, so don't worry. Anyways, I load that file onto my console and launch the game. Getting into the game, I load up the save file just to see what all would pop, and this happened. Alright, here we go. So that's 1. We got 1 bronze. Yeah, so that happened. But don't worry, because as soon as I pulled up the menu, this actually happened. Okay, they all just popped. They all just popped. Okay. So that means I got a total of 33 trophies to pop without me even playing the game. And the trophies I got were huge into getting this game done quickly. I got all of the trophies for beating the game on various difficulties, including crushing, complete the game in 6 hours or less, all trophies attached to treasures, journal entries, optional combos, and various miscellaneous trophies, including 1,000 kills. So that left me with some one-off trophies and 1 trophy that I will get into later in the video. But before that, we've got a few one-off trophies like I mentioned before to get. The first one being Stage Fright. One of the easiest trophies to get, and actually is a funny callback to when Uncharted 4 was being demoed for the world. Basically, I had to get to the end of Chapter 11 right after we came crashing down from the clock tower and stand still for 30 seconds. This is a callback to when Naughty Dog showcased the game to the world, but had some technical errors at the beginning of the presentation. So after standing around for 30 seconds, we got the trophy to pop. Next was the On Porpoise trophy, which is to get 3 dolphins to follow the boat. This one is in Chapter 12, right at the beginning. Basically, there are 3 spots where dolphins will be jumping around, and all you need to do is to drive over them. Not literally, but you know what I mean. When Sam starts to mention dolphins, that's when you know that you've at least got a dolphin following you. This trophy was a little tricky because apparently sometimes the dolphins spawn, and sometimes they don't. In my case, it took me 2 mission restarts until I finally got all 3.
There we go.
Next was Swordmaster. I wouldn't say this one was hard, but my small brain was just struggling too much to read Rafe's moves, even on the easiest difficulty. To show that, I've compiled all of the times I got hit and had to restart. Ah, sh... Ah... Ah, sh... Stop! Ah, you... But eventually I was able to perfectly parry him and get the trophy to pop. Moving to the next trophy we have, Just Floor It. This one can be found in Chapter 17 in one of the encounters. This one could have been a hassle because if Elena kills any of the enemies, then I have to start all over. Luckily, she decided to be a terrible aim for once and didn't get a single kill before I could escape. So, once I was in the clear, the trophy popped.
That should be it right there. More or less. There we go.
Next was one of the tedious trophies I still had to unlock, Cliffhanger. This trophy requires me to pull 20 enemies over when hanging from a ledge. Luckily, in the Uncharted series, all trophies can be farmed simply by doing the task and then restarting from a checkpoint. So that's exactly what I did 20 times. And yes, the footage you are seeing is every single enemy defeated by being pulled off the ledge. Like I said, tedious. Eventually, we got to the point for the trophy to pop.
There we go.
Next was Hitting a Brick Wall, which was to defeat 5 armored enemies with melee only. If you don't know, you can't just walk up to an armored enemy and beat them to death. Nope! You have to attack from above. Luckily, it was only 5 times, so it didn't take long to get that trophy to pop.
There we go.
The next 2 trophies I could luckily do in the same mission. Run the Table, and I thought I heard something. First was Run the Table, which is to defeat enemies in a certain order. This wasn't too tricky to do, it was just a matter of remembering the order to do it in. Once that trophy was done though, it was back to the start of that encounter in Chapter 8 to go down on a guy 30 times.
What did he say?
Anyways, yeah, this was just another rinse and repeat trophy. Another area I was able to get 2 trophies in one was Chapter 10, the 12 Towers at the Drawbridge encounter. I stacked up on Defeat 10 and 60, China Lake GL, and Boom County. First was Defeat 10 and 60, which was pretty self-explanatory. Defeat 10 enemies in 60 seconds with a China Lake GL. And I didn't seem to mention this at the beginning of the video, I was able to use the bonus section for getting specific weapons and unlimited ammo, so that made everything so much easier. Say I didn't do it fair all you want in the comments, but if the game allows it, I think it's fair. Anyways, after 10 kills with the China Lake, the trophy pops. Next was Boom Country, which is to defeat 4 enemies with the same explosion. And at some point in the encounter, a truck with 4 to 5 enemies come in and offload bad guys. One good shot and the trophy popped. Up next is Butterfingers, which was more tedious than hard. The goal is to get 10 enemies to drop their grenades. So what I was looking for was an enemy to start throwing a grenade, and in that small window of time, I have to peek out and shoot him in order for the enemy to drop the grenade. I used the slow down when aiming bonus because it allowed the enemies to move way slower, so this gave me plenty of time to keep an eye on these 3 guys. Once one of them dropped their grenade, I would restart, rinse and repeat until the trophy popped. Next was Ghost in the Cemetery, and although it was a silver trophy, this one wasn't that hard. It was just a matter of stealth and praying that you hit a checkpoint if you got spotted. So we can just show I got this one and move on. Rushing Roulette was next on the list, and this was another sequence trophy. Use a pistol, machine gun, and grenade in that order to defeat enemies. Chapter 13 was perfect for this because you already start with a grenade in your inventory. So just string the other kills in and boom, trophy unlocked. Now remember, I didn't have to play all the way through in this game. I've just been skipping around getting the remainder trophies. So when I see that the next trophy is Unstoppable, which is to defeat 100 enemies without dying, I panicked a little bit. Luckily, there is one mission that has an infinite spawn of enemies. In Chapter 7, once you get to the ballroom, which is at the end of the mission, you are fighting your way out to get to a limo. Kill all the enemies leading up to that and do not enter the limo. On the sides of the walls, 2 enemies will infinitely spawn on each side. This one just takes a good bit of time, so be sure to put on infinite ammo. But after some time passes, you'll end up getting the trophy. Now we head back to Chapter 13 to get the Leapfrog trophy. This requires you to defeat 10 enemies in a row while alternating gun kills and melee kills. This one's pretty straightforward, and at the encounter Island Jungle, you will have enough enemies to do this with. Okay, don't judge, but now we go back again to Chapter 7 in the ballroom. Here, I get the Run and Gunner trophy, which is to kill enemies without aiming. Now, in all fairness, I have been doing this a little throughout getting all these other trophies, so it didn't take long for that one to pop. But if you're still going for it and haven't gotten any of these kills, get all the kills you can until the enemies only spawn on the ledges, and then you just reset at that point. And lastly, we had Hangman's Bullet, which is to get 20 headshots from the rope. Hands down, easiest place to do this is Chapter 11 on the convoy encounter. You want to climb up the rope that you were holding on to, but not enough to lift you into the truck. Hang on the rope and just shoot at all the bikers in the head driving by. Infinite ammo and slow down aim speed is great for this. After 20 kills, it will pop. Now you'll notice I'm still missing one trophy from this game, and that's where I need to sit you down and come clean about something. There is only one platinum trophy for this game, not 2. Normally, Uncharted games had its own platinum. However, with PlayStation 5, they usually like to infuse a bunch of games into one. Call of Duty has been doing this since Modern Warfare 2 came out. Any game after Modern Warfare 2 is listed as DLC, which is exactly what Legacy of Thieves did. Now you might be asking yourself, why is that important to know? Well, that's because the last trophy for the base game is to get all the trophies in Lost Legacy. Yeah. Now I know you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what about a save file? Couldn't you just load that up and do exactly what you just did in Uncharted 4? Yeah, you're absolutely right. But there's one other problem I forgot to mention. The last save file I had on Lost Legacy was dated when I first completed the game. So I didn't have my crushing difficulty run saved, and I didn't have all of the treasures unlocked. So I had to replay the entire game on crushing and get all of the collectibles. So all of the treasures, the pictures, the optional combos, and the lockpicking crates. So to save some time, I'm going to briefly go chapter by chapter and show me getting all of these collectibles as well as completing the missions. I also did get some trophies done while doing this playthrough, so you'll see those as well. So I guess let's dive into Lost Legacy. Chapter 1 was pretty straightforward. It was an intro mission, so not a whole lot of action. However, we did unlock the Fingersmith trophy for picking a 3-pin lock in under 15 seconds. Also, this mission had one treasure, so we go ahead and we got that. Chapter 2 is a little more action-packed. We fight some guards, and at the end, we run from an army, it seems. Alongside getting collectibles, we did pick up another trophy, Wing Woman. So this did kind of tell me that some stats did carry over and will make some of these one-off trophies a little easier to obtain. Chapter 3 is more exploring and getting collectibles with 2 small enemy encounters. On the second encounter, we were able to get 10 up, 10 down for defeating enemies with headshots in a row. Playing on crushing, this just makes sense. The less bullets I fire, the better. Then finishing out the mission by getting some more collectibles. Chapter 4 was the longest chapter in the game, mainly due to the fact it's open world and has the most collectibles. Ultimately, there are 3 towers you have to go through and clear out. I don't show a whole lot of that because this video would be way longer, and to be honest, you'll see that more in depth later in the video. What you're seeing is me getting all collectibles in this mission. So treasures, lockboxes, pictures, optional combos. I'm adding these medallions that have to do with some collectibles later in the mission.
I'll talk to you real quick.
That's very good. Great.
I like monkeys.
Looks like there's something in the structure there. Another token for my I've got your brother.
Get the picture with monkeys. Yeah, there we go.
Hop in my pocket, little.
Perfect. Okay.
You've waited hundreds of years. Maybe not in the way you're thinking.
Not literal destruction then?
Eventually, we do get to the Axe Tower, which has a trophy tied to it. Flawless Gauntlet, which is to get through all 3 trials without resetting the board. This wasn't too bad of a task, just had to understand how the axes work and the pattern they swing in. Some swing on 3 moves and some swing on every move. Ultimately, if you screw up, you can just restart from checkpoint. But once you get past the 3rd challenge, the trophy should pop. One treasure follows that, and then our next trophy, Fraser, Chloe Fraser. Basically, get 5 consecutive kills with a silenced pistol and not get detected. This means that the other enemies cannot spot the bodies of the previously eliminated. On an open area like this, it was pretty easy to accomplish this.
What the?
What did you find? The next lockbox I opened had a treasure inside that got me to a total of 35 treasures, which caused the Hardcore Treasure Hunter trophy to pop.
There you are. Finders keepers.
Then it was back to collecting collectibles.
Hey, fancy a ride in my... Trained in the martial arts by Shiva himself.
Cool.
Towards the end of getting all the collectibles in the mission, we climb the tallest tower in the level and stand on the tippy top of it. After some self-dialogue from Chloe, we get the Your Prize trophy for just appreciating the
There it
view.
is.
We have collected all the medallions to unlock a new part of the map. Also collecting the Yas Queen trophy. This allows us to fully finish out the level for collectibles.
Oh, come on. Really?
The way their faces are ringed with hair. Whoa, hey!
That was amazing.
Now it's on to Chapter 5. Most of this mission we just explored further into the story, continuing to collect various collectibles.
See some structures beneath the fall.
What are obstacles?
He's more than happy to place them in your way if you think. When are you going to be back here?
Must have had a trebuchet.
Trebuchet?
Crypt in here.
Crypts and burials aren't really a Hindu thing.
Until we get to the shadow puzzle right here, which ironically was a trophy. All we had to do is complete the puzzle in 10 moves or less. And although I make it look super simple in this video, that's because I looked up a guide on how to do it. Yeah, I really didn't feel like attending this on my own, considering that this was all done in one stream. And I was also drained from the last chapter. Anyways, we get through the puzzle and collect a few more collectibles before getting to chapter 6.
That's how it looked to the Persians. Before they...
Now this chapter has always had a bad taste in my mouth, solely because of the stealth part with a tank that's always patrolling. Okay, maybe it's not a tank, but it's close enough. Other than that, this chapter is fairly easy, just collecting things throughout it.
What? What's the difference?
Smaller.
Chapter 7 is next, and it does have some encounters throughout it, but I'd say 90% of this is adventuring and collectibles. Some major points in the story unfold, but that's not what this video is about.
Huh, look there. The Queen and her handmaidens. Women actually played a big role in Hoysalar society. Magnificent.
All this.
So planning to do Destiny tonight? If not,
Magnificent bejeweled tusk.
Let's hope so. Necklace.
That's Vasuki.
And Shiva's third eye.
You
There
know
we go.
about Shiva's third eye?
Anyways, after doing a bunch of collectibles, we get to the point where we take a picture of Nadine and get the trophy, Pics where it didn't happen. That means we have all of the photo opportunities done, which is good news because now I can focus on the other collectibles. After that, we get captured by the big bad nerd, aka the villain of this whole game, which I am mentioning for the first time, and we end up escaping. Trying not to spoil much of this game in case you haven't played it yet, so bear with me as I skip around the story a lot. Chapter 8, aka the chapter where we get a lot done here, we go around getting a couple more collectibles and optional
Thanks
conversations.
for keeping him busy for us. Hey, thanks for not murdering Sam, by the way. I never would have found you without her help, okay? Why don't you go?
Then we get to the first fight in the chapter, and I'm just blindly firing behind cover. I've actually been doing this a lot throughout the game because there was a trophy for defeating 20 enemies this way, and wouldn't you know it, it ends up popping. Shortly after we have a side convo with Nadine, we also get the Getting to Know You trophy for completing all of the side convos. Then we collect a few more treasures, including the Strange Skull, and upon further inspection, it's actually like a magic 8-ball, and when we ask it a question, we get a trophy. And then towards the end of the chapter, where the big helicopter fight is, we are unlocking the last few of the lockboxes to get the trophy, Pics or It Didn't Happen. Not to be confused with the other Pics or It Didn't Happen, they're actually spelled differently. Okay, anyways, you don't care. Chapter 9, the final chapter, half of it's a car chase, so of course you can't get any treasures there. Once on the train that we are chasing, we get 2 of the 3 treasures we need in the mission, and also pick up the Itchy Trigger Finger trophy for defeating 20 enemies while hip firing. Then we collect our final treasure in the game, unlocking the Collector of Antiquities trophy. One mediocre boss fight later, and we beat the game on crushing difficulty. Didn't that seem like such a fun experience? What if I told you I had to do half of that again? Yup, all for a trophy called the Way of the Warrior. This trophy challenges you to go from the start of the game to the beginning of Chapter 5 without using a firearm or explosive. In other words, either melee them, run them over with a car, or don't fight back and pray that your NPC partner can kill everyone for you. Alright, let's run it back, but in a quick manner. The prologue is super simple, just walking around a town market. Chapter 1 is also just walking around, but in a warzone environment, only needing to take out one guard. Chapter 2 is running on rooftops, and again from an army trying to mow you down for simply looking at old maps. Chapter 3 did have some fights in it. Luckily, we have a car. We were also able to complete the 4x4x4 trophy for defeating 4 enemies in 20 seconds with a vehicle. That brings us back to Chapter 4. Luckily, I learned a few other trophies we can get in this chapter. We start by driving off the edge of the map, killing our characters to get Let's Not Get Caught. Shortly after that, we have a George of the Jungle moment, or maybe Jane of the Jungle moment, swinging from 5 grapple points in a row to unlock Jungle Gym.
4. There we go.
From there, we continue on the chapter as normal, sneaking around the Bow Temple and getting to the puzzle and completing it with ease. Next was the Trident Temple, and this one was not so easy to sneak around. However, we do get through it without using a weapon and complete the second puzzle. Then we move on to the easiest temple to clear, and that's the Axe Temple. Since it was only 3 hours ago that I did this mission, I was able to remember the order in which to jump. Once I got through, we did the last puzzle and unlocked the big door. Now it was just a matter of getting to that door, which was super easy, and boom. Trophy pop. From here on out, it was just one-off trophies that we needed to get. We start off with Right Under Your Nose, which is to destroy the helicopter without defeating any other enemies. This was done at the end of Chapter 8, and with unlimited RPG ammo, we were able to do this one with ease. Next is a trophy that brings so much joy to my heart because I cannot stand this mission. We are bringing it back to Chapter 6 for the Overkill trophy, and all we need to do was collect 2 C4s, stick it to the APC, and destroy it in one detonation.
we go.
Next was Si Sis Paciem Parabellum, which I'm 90% sure that translates to use every weapon in the game, and even if it doesn't, that's exactly what I did to get the next trophy pop. Tip of the Hat was next in line, and this was one of the repetitive trophies that you have to do over and over again. I found Chapter 9 on the train was easiest to do this because you have to do it in a stealth manner. Problem was, you had to clear enemies out before getting to him. So after 10 times of clearing enemies, ripping this guy's helmet off, and snapping his neck, we get the trophy. The next two trophies, we need to go back to Chapter 6 for both being right after we blow up the APC. A truck comes in carrying 4 to 5 enemies. We need to defeat 4 in one detonation, which was easy to do. Then it's back to restarting the checkpoint and farming kills until we get to 20. Would you believe me if I told you we had to go back to Chapter 4 again? Well, we did. Specifically, the Trident Fort, because there's a trophy to go through that without being seen. Luckily, it's just the first part of the fort, not the whole way around, so after several minutes of praying people don't find me in the bushes, we get past everyone to get quiet as a mouse. Back at the end of Chapter 8, yes, I know, I jump around a lot like a person with commitment issues, don't judge me on this. We are sneaking around the helicopter and getting 15 stealth kills in a row for just the win. Next is a sequence trophy. Defeat 5 enemies with each one taking damage for a handgun, long gun, and melee. So we go back to Chapter 3 to do just that. In the same encounter, we attempt to make an entrance so we can run over a goon, gun a guy down, bitch smack another one, and blow the other one up. Isn't trophy hunting fun? Speaking of fun, Cannonball is up next. That is all the way towards the beginning of Chapter 8. There's a point in climbing where below there's a pool from a waterfall, and with 10 out of 10 technique, we hit the water, and out comes the trophy. Backseat drivers in Chapter 9, where we have to kick the driver out of a vehicle and steal his whip. Luckily, another rinse and repeat trophy, and after 6 times, this one pops too. And we saved the best for last. Best driver in the business. This will take us back to Chapter 4 one last time. Basically, we are starting from where the chapter ends and going up to the other side of the map where the Trident Fort is and back in 3 minutes. This can be a difficult trophy, but I found a path that allows me to do it with time to spare, as you'll see in the clip. And I'll let Past JB, aka the guy you're watching, play this live, take it from there.
Do tell.
Rather not. Maybe over drinks. Not enough alcohol in the world.
I feel like we're doing good on time. I feel like we're doing really good on time.
You're the military expert. What's Asab's strategy here?
He spread out his men, hoping to stop us in our tracks. Not what I would do.
So what would you do if you were Asab?
Alright, we want to go right up the middle
Side
here.
lose the beard, hang back. Let you do the heavy lifting, then swoop in and grab up the task once you've done all the hard work.
Devious.
Practical. Mitigates a lot of risks.
Lucky you're on my team.
Yeah, you are. I'm a little surprised Assad's not doing the same thing. Maybe his expert knows more than we think.
Right. All the more reason
Alright,
to wrap
let's
this up
see.
quickly then.
That's Trident Fortress
there?
right there.
One of Assad's trucks.
Looks clear out here.
And now we just reverse it. But going down this way, we can just take all this. Okay, we don't want to do that. I think we can do. Yeah, I think we got this. It's just a matter of if we actually triggered it down there. There's no way this took 3 minutes. I mean, I did it a lot faster than the video looked like it was doing it. There it is. Best driver in the business, all of Lost Legacy trophies, all of Uncharted 4 trophies, which gets us a Thief's Legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, Platinum Trophy number 97 is in the books, baby.
And that's how the Uncharted Lost Legacy Platinum was a doozy. If you guys enjoyed, I would really appreciate you dropping a like on this video. If you made it this far, comment a game that you'd like to see me platinum next and make a video on. You might even get a shout out in the video. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, you guys know me. It's been your boy SirJB. Get at me.